Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. Currently recording from sunny Florida. I am on a vacation, about to celebrate my friend Andres' wedding this weekend. I'm so excited. If you don't follow Andres on Instagram, go follow him. He is an incredible registered dietitian and just such a good human and friend. And I'm so excited to celebrate him this weekend. And his soon-to-be wife, GB, who I had the pleasure of knowing as well, who is also just like the nicest human, who's also worth following on Instagram. So Andres Ayesta, you can follow him on Instagram. And he's the founder of Planos Nutrition, and he does a lot of like individualized nutrition, customized meal plans, a little bit more specific to things like macro tracking, but just a really, really great guy. And his wife is GB. GB is a food blogger. She's a recipe developer, and she just has like the greatest, most nutritious, balanced recipes. They're just such a powerful couple, and I'm so excited to celebrate them. So anyways, I wanted to kind of just shout them out in celebration for their wedding this weekend. So excited to be there with them. But I'm recording in Florida. I'm really trying hard to do this 3-episode a week thing. I don't know if I'm going to do it forever because I'm starting to recognize it's a lot more work than I thought. As much as I love recording podcasts, I also would love to be laying in the sun right now and laying on the beach in the pool. I know I'll be doing plenty of that, but still. So I'll keep you guys updated if I still decide to do this 3-episode a week situation. Maybe we'll take a little bit of a break. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm curious. If you have been an all-time listener or you're new to the podcast, let me know. Do you like to maybe seeing too many episodes in a week overwhelm you? Maybe you like that. Maybe you like that they're just like 20 minutes or less often. I would love any feedback you want to give me about the podcast. So message me on Instagram at tips_with_Tony with an I, or the Tips with Tony podcast on Instagram. And please let me know what you like the most, what episodes you like the most. I would really, really appreciate it. Anyways, so as much as I wanted to take this whole week off, I have to work because my clients depend on me. And I did just get off a couple of client calls, although I didn't have as many booked this week. I did schedule some client calls, but honestly it was perfect because it totally inspired this episode and the episode coming out on Friday. So very often when I'm trying to think about what do I want to talk about, what do I want to share with you guys, it's literally client examples, it's conversations that come up in working with somebody one-on-one, working towards their nutrition. So if any of these episodes resonate with you, chances are you would love working with either myself. Chances are it will probably be with someone on my team, because right now my individual spots are limited. But working with one of the dietitians on my team who are literally incredible. I'm obsessed with them. You're going to have the pleasure of meeting them soon virtually here on the podcast. You are going to get so much out of this, but they are just incredible humans, and just working with someone one-on-one really helps you to be introspective and will guide you in what to focus on, but you're really going to get to the root of like why you struggle with food, and how do you overcome that, and how do you reach your goals, and how do you become more consistent? Because I think most people struggle with consistency. So anyways, this most recent episode I'm talking about is all about how do you break out of autopilot. So I had a client who recently kind of shared with me, and it's like, we talked about all the things that I could do when I'm struggling, when I'm tempted to emotionally eat, when I'm tempted to binge, with all these things, but at the end of the day, like, I don't remember them when I'm in it. That's all, like, I'm on autopilot. Like, I don't remember. I know that journaling would be helpful. I know that, changing my location would be helpful, but like, I can't quite get out of it when I'm in autopilot. And so I explained to her that with autopilot, if you think about it, autopilot isn't good or bad, right? We often associate it with, I don't know if you associate it with good or bad, but the point is that autopilot can be it's as simple as when you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth. You're not really thinking about that. Maybe you put the coffee on, maybe you make your bed, right? That's autopilot. And those are habits. So we get an autopilot from our habits. Now, what she was referring to was more of an emotional eating experience, a binging experience, going for the sweets, stuff like that. And it's like kind of just like almost with people who struggle with binge eating, it becomes almost like an outer body experience. It's like you kind of like are aware it's happening, but you're not like in your body. You can't, it's like you're almost like watching yourself do it. There's this disconnect, right? And so I kind of explained to her that breaking out of that is really hard, right? Just like forming habits, breaking habits, making habits, it really does take time. And that's something that's possible. And I'm going to teach her how to do that. And it's a lot easier to do when you have the tons of support that you get within the one-on-one coaching. But at the same time, what we want to start to do first is set up an environment that prevents us from becoming in that autopilot, right? So if feeling fatigued, tired, stressed, anxious are things that trigger you to kind of check out, right? You just start scrolling on Instagram. You start, you binge watch episodes of Netflix till 1 or 2 in the morning. You start eating and it's like you just can't stop, right? That's autopilot, but those are things that gets you to autopilot. But those are things that if we were proactive and we were mindful of getting to bed around a certain time each night, we're going to limit the amount of scrolling on Instagram. We're going to limit the amount of binge watching of Netflix episodes and oversleep, and then not getting adequate sleep, and then waking up tired, and then being more tempted to go for sweet items and overeat, right? We have to break the cycle at some point. And so I think that the best thing that you can do to break out of autopilot is never get in it. And that's number one. Number two is then creating healthier habits. Like one thing my client's also working on is journaling more. And she's like, but I forget to do it. Well, it's because it hasn't become a habit yet, right? So if you work on the habit of every morning when you wake up, you brush your teeth, you sit down, you have your cup of coffee, and you journal 2 sentences of how you're feeling. 3 words about what you're grateful for. Whatever gets you to do it, right? It doesn't need to be paragraphs and pages and pages of your thoughts. It could literally be 1 or 2 things. What are you grateful for? Write it down. The more you do that, the more you practice that, the easier it's going to be to now make that part of your autopilot. So autopilot is really just habits, right? So it's all about shifting your habits to be more positive and effective ones versus maybe those less than helpful, I would say, habits that we sometimes get stuck into, okay? So breaking out of autopilot is easiest to do when you don't get in it. I will say that. It's the difference between being mindless and mindful, right? So we want to shift our focus from being mindless to more mindful. Now, it is possible to break out of autopilot when you're in it. It's hard to do. It takes lots of practice, but it is possible. The first thing you need to do is you need to understand that there will be moments, hopefully just one moment where you start to, you identify in that moment that you're actually in autopilot. When you recognize you're in autopilot, you need to stop immediately whatever it is that you're doing. You need to turn the TV off. You need to put the phone down. You need to throw the food away, right? Immediately when you recognize that you're in autopilot, you need to stop. What often happens is someone recognizes it and then they say, well, it's already 1 a.m., What's the matter? I'm already not going to get enough sleep. Why not finish this episode, right? Or I already finished half the bag of chips. Why not finish the bag of chips, right? I already been scrolling for hours. What's 20 more minutes, right? And that's the wrong mindset, because every 15 to 20 minutes of sleep helps with your energy and your cravings. Every second you decide, you know what, I'm not going to finish that food because I'm full, I don't feel well, is going to help with the digestive process, right? Every little thing that you do helps. And if you stay stuck in that all or nothing mindset, that thing will creep up in all aspects of our life, and it is so not helpful. We need to remember that you have the power and that every little bit helps. So this second that you recognize you're on autopilot, it's almost like taking a rubber band and like snapping yourself with a rubber band. You got to snap out of it. Snap out of it, shift what you were doing, and practice that. That takes practice, which is why I teach more of like the proactive methods. It's a whole lot easier to do when you're not tempted or triggered to do it. But with that said, it is possible. It is always possible to make changes. You just have to remember that you are in the driver's seat. You are in charge of your choices, and you are capable of doing whatever it is that you choose to do. Okay? So that is it for me today. If you resonated with this episode, take a screenshot of it, share it, tag me at tips_with_Tony with an I. Let me know what resonated with you. If you have someone that you think would enjoy this podcast, if you want to share it with a friend, I would so appreciate it. And if you are new to the podcast and you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, that follow button. If you want to rate a review, I would really appreciate it. The higher the ratings, the more reviews, the more people hear this podcast, the more this message gets out there, and the more people are living healthier, happier, abundant, balanced, rich lives. And I would be really, really grateful. All right. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for listening. I am Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.